Yeah, we've been talking about Yemen for a while, but we should focus more on Kenya. Like the Standard has done. God save Kenya. Yes, this country needs to be saved. And they have images of these three gentlemen here. The person in charge of Interior, that's a Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen, the Principal Secretary in that ministry, Raymond Omolo, and the person in charge of the Police Service, that's Inspector General Douglas Kanja. These are the three gentlemen who are charged with Kenya's security. They failed spectacularly over the weekend. Yeah, spectacularly. All three collectively. Wakiweko kwa mahali hivi wanaitwa tu failure. Yes. Because even the PS came out and said, oh, I assure you. Yes. I'd rather had not even spoken. He came out and said, I assure you there will be no violence in Homa Bay. Ile violence aliona. Clearly his word doesn't count for anything. PS Dr. Raymond Omolo, I am sorry. Watu ni kama wakusikizi. Ama wakutambui.
Failure.
Failure. So whatever President Ruto sees in these three gentlemen, the men charged with the country's security, from Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, his PS Raymond Omolo, to the IG of Police Douglas Kanja, it continues to baffle many. This is according to the Standard. Under their watch, the country appears to be sliding into a troubling culture of lawlessness, with political violence increasingly threatening the right to assemble and campaign peacefully. Now, hours before the Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay, warning signs were unmistakable. Reckless statements by politicians raised the specter of violence, while goons were reportedly mobilized in broad daylight. Now, what followed was a trail of destruction. We all watched it. Bloodshed because people died. Yes. Death. Raising serious questions about whether the state can protect citizens from politically instigated violence. You know, the state is supposed to protect, one, human life, two, property. So, kuna watu walikufa, there's property that was destroyed. What do you call that in English? Failure. And that on the front page, ladies and gentlemen, is a failure that happened this past weekend. Yes. So road to general election, that is the only story featured on the front page, and they've really concentrated, dedicating acres and acres of space, 4 pages, 3, 4, 5, 6, and page 1 to this story. So they asked the question, how much longer will the country remain on the edge before the president takes decisive action? This is a question many people are asking. Okay, how important are these three gentlemen?
Well, they should be very important.
How come they're still there, yet they cannot do it? They cannot do the job. Kwani hii kazi ni ya
Pastime.
Ni entitlement. To be honest, if you are a teacher and you fail to teach, what do we call you?
Failure.
You're a teacher. You're a failure. You shouldn't be in class. All right. Journalists horror. Journalists were also victims of the violence in Homa Bay. Journalists horror, we thought we were going to die. That's a very chilling account of that. Yes. The other headline, state silent on political violence, and it casts a shadow over road to 2027. Security failure, they ask on page 4, Interior chiefs on the spot over Homa Bay chaos. Linda Mwananchi rally exposes Homa Bay's bad road crisis. Watu watai kuitwa ati kwao ni Yemen. Alafu kuna swali hapa on page 6 of the Standard. Why is Kaluma free? Please tell me if you have an answer to that question. Why is Kaluma, hata nitasema jina complete, why is Peter Kaluma free? Why is he still free? Police face double standards questions. Yeah. Kwingine wanashika watu haraka sana, and we commend them for that, because we cannot encourage reckless talk anywhere in this country.
Yeah.
But what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. It should happen across board. Another very interesting story, and this will be away from the politics and political violence. On page 2 of the Standard, back to work too soon, MPs push for 6 months maternity leave. Yeah, members of parliament are now seeking a review of maternity leave in Kenya, arguing that the existing framework may not adequately protect mothers and children or promote equitable leave entitlements. So nominated MP Dorothy Muthoni led MPs in seeking statement from the National Assembly Labour Committee on harmonizing and strengthening maternity leave for female employees. 6 months.
I support with everything I have.
Unaenda ukirudi ushasahau kazi inafanywa aje. Hata ujui.
Hiyo inamaanisha ni failure.
Hapana, you're not a failure because you succeed.
Umesahau aje kazi. No, 6 months is actually good.
This is something commendable if they actually get to do it. For at least the 13th parliament wafanye kitu moja. ya maana.
Yes, nchi
moja
nayo.
Unajua wanamaliza next year. All right, turn the back page. Yes, the great Arsenal lifting the Community Shield. Manchester City make dismal start to life after Pep Guardiola. Wakona this was a good one, and that's the back page of the Standard.
All right, tangalia gazeti la Taifa Leo. Kila mhuni alipata shilingi 400 Homa Bay. Goons walipata 4,000 Kenyan shillings in Homa Bay. Nimesema 1,400 ama 1,000?
Nani atatoa hiyo
4,000?
Kidogo utafanya watu wengine waende wakue goons.
Wakue goons. Well, we do not encourage Goonism in this station. Vurugu zilizotokea Homa Bay Jumapili wakati wa mikutano ya kundi la Linda Mwananchi huenda zilipangwa siku kadhaa kabla, huku wanasiasa wakidaiwa kuwahamasisha vijana na kuunda mtandao wa kuratibu uvamizi. Duru kutoka kwa polisi na mahojiano na baadhi ya vijana waliohusika zilifichua kuwa mkutano wa kwanza ulifanyika Agosti tarehe 2 nyumbani kwa mwanasiasa mashuhuri. Nyumbani wapi? Kwa mwanasiasa mashuhuri.
Mashuhuri, mbona anaitwa mashuhuri?
Yes.
Umaarufu wake
ni gani?
Kunatokana na nini? Kulipa watu?
Kulipa goons.
Ama alikuwa ni vile tu ana pesa. Yeah. Okay, ni mashuhuri kama ana hizo pesa. If he procure the services of about 1,000 goons, maybe 4,000 each, that's 400,000. Hiyo ndio umaarufu wake, na umemwita ni mashuhuri.
Mashuhuri. Sasa vijana hao walidaiwa kuagizwa kuzuia James Orengo, Edwin Sifuna na Babu Owino kufanya kikao county humo, lakini the Standard alikuwa anasema nini jana? Triumphant.
Yes.
It was a triumphant entry in Homa Bay on Sunday. Vidokeza zaidi, masuala ya Ebola. Waamerika 7 watoka karantini Laikipia. Waliachiliwa baada ya kukamilisha siku 21 za uangalizi katika kituo hicho.
Kwa hivyo hawana Ebola.
Hawana Ebola, hawakuwa nayo.
Bado hatuna.
Bado hatuna. Wakazi Pwani watakiwa kujiandalia El Nino. Wito kaunti sita za Pwani kuweka mikakati imara kukabiliana na mafuriko yajayo. Walimu wapinga agizo la TSC kuhusu mitandao. Tulizungumzia habari hii jana. Wanalalamika kuwa mwajiri wao anaingilia maisha yao kibinafsi.
Hata hiyo mimi nakataa surely. Hapana. Anyway, TSC hapo ni kama they had come a bit too much.
Kwa nini unakataa?
Surely it's your private life, the way you engage people on social media. Unless you're misrepresenting your employer, why should he or she bother?
Right.
Yeah.
Nakubaliana na wewe. Kule juu zaidi, Gachagua wasilisha rufaa kotini. Anapinga uamuzi wa koti kuhusu kutimuliwa na seneti. Na masuala ya spoti pia, kocha mpya wa Man City ana kibarua. City ilipigwa 3-4 na Arsenal mnamo Jumapili.
3-0.
Yes. 3-0. Na hiyo kila mhuni alipata 4,000. Sio 400,000. Taifa Leo.
Right, from Taifa Leo, let's take a look at the Daily Nation, focusing on the same story. What happened in Homa Bay, how Homa Bay chaos was plotted, just as you said. Sources say a politician hosted a meeting to plan the attacks, days to Sunday's events. Police know all this, but no politician has been arrested so far. Yeah. Failure. Another meeting was held on the eve of the rallies with goons paid 4,000. We've talked about that. Now, at least 2 people, including a police officer, were killed and scores injured. Local police say 22 suspects were arrested following the violence. And there they have a photo of a car that, which is just one of the vehicles that was torched during the Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay town. So lives were lost, property was destroyed. And the people charged with protecting life and property are sitting pretty and smiling, like proper failures.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's move on to a different story. Gachagua claims court altered impeachment judgment. The former DP has challenged High Court decision upholding his 2024 impeachment by the Senate. Among his key grounds at the Court of Appeal is a claim that the lower court modified the final written judgment. Yani kuna ile ilikuja, ikasomwa na judge, na ikaisha. You know, he had been awarded 50 million shillings.
Yes.
And then ni kama they rewrote the judgment again. That's what he claims according to his appeal. Millions in, nothing out. Farmers' losses amid maize crisis. That's a story on page 12. This time they're predicting that we won't get enough rain.
Enough rain?
El Nino will come, but the harvest will not be as bountiful as expected. Yeah. That story on page 14 about TSC. Let's just take a look at that. Yes. TSC, social media gag splits opinion. Do you think teachers should not be allowed to be on social media? Yeah, teachers say individual breaches of code of conduct should be investigated rather than addressed through broad directives. Yeah, there's a directive by the Teacher Service Commission warning teachers against unprofessional conduct on social media. What exactly is unprofessional conduct on social media? Is dancing on social media unprofessional conduct? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Educators say the body should regulate professional conduct, not control their personal lives. We do agree with that. Any other? 7 U.S. workers leave Laikipia. We've talked about that. Extradition of 3 Kenyans to face fraud charges in U.S. halted. And nursing students plead for end to strike. They're saying they're... You know, we forgot that there was a strike in the health sector. When we moved on, people are going to hospitals and not receiving treatment. Yeah. And we moved on. Sisi zile vitu tunazungumzia ni mambo tofauti sana. You also talked about cancer research. Yeah. And I'm looking inside pages. I'm not seeing any discussion around cancer. Yeah. Back page matters volleyball. Volleyball Jem Akinyi dreams big. We're talking about volleyball on the back page. This paper talked about Community Shield yesterday. Ingine tulisahau ni WAFCON. Yeah? Women's Africa Cup of Nations Tournament. Kumbe Cameroon walishinda. They beat Morocco. Hata nani alikuwa anajua. Cameroon's triumph at the WAFCON Women's African is one of the most remarkable stories of this tournament. You can read more on this. Yes, Cameroon are the eventual winners. Once Kenya exited, and we also exited. Yes. Tukangojea Community Shield. That's the Daily Nation. Community Shield ya nani tena? Ya Arsenal, team kubwa. Good job. People Daily. Why Goonism is greatest threat to Ruto's re-election bid. Poll violence, they call it, and this story is on page 4. Use of posts to silence dissenters expose a hypocritical gap between executive rhetoric and political reality. That is the main story on the front page. Other quick headlines here. 1 country, 2 laws. Reaction to Kaluma remarks raises questions over selective enforcement of incitement laws. Yes, same question. Fredi ameuliza. Is it that important? Ama mnamuogopa? Why is he still free? Yes. Hawa ndio wanaogopa Kaluma. Hawa 3. Ukiwaona hapa. Wanaona wakimuona. Wanainama. Wanainuka. Wanatoka mbio, wanatoroka. There's a song that say that's well, tutaikumbuka tutaimba kesho asubuhi. Early baby care or income inside the heartbreaking choice facing Kenyan mothers. That's another story on page 6, and that's the People Daily. All right, from the People Daily, take a look at the Star. Remember, today is Tuesday, it's not for sale. The Star steers clear of anything that is on the other front pages. It talks about power reaching 1.6 million people as state lights up forgotten villages. The Star every Tuesday has been just chronicling some of the successes or some of the projects that this government has been engaging in. So this is one of them. Remote communities finally part of country's development story, and they talk the numbers, new power connections per region. Nyanza over 300,000, Rift Valley a similar number, Coast close to 200,000, Eastern 250,000, Central 190,000, Nairobi 111,000, Western 102,000, and Northeastern 58,000. And as far as connecting people to the electricity grid. That's the main story. You can read more on this on pages 4 and 5 of the Star. Judge orders 45-acre estate shared equally among 19 beneficiaries. That's another story from the courts on page 3. Kwa hivyo wanapigana kuhusu 45 acres alafu mnaambiwa yagawanini watu 19. Kila mtu anapata 2 point something. 2.2 acres. Sio mbaya, 2.2 sio mbaya. Yes. Pale juu, divide and win inside President Ruto's plot to split opposition ahead of 2027 election. There's some people who are reading mischief in that announcement by Ndindi Nyoro that ameingia People's Party. PPK, yes. Wanasema probably it's part of the plan to split. But yes, sijui ni watu wengi, ni rumors, sio ni rumors by the way. Let's not stick to rumors. Wachana kabisa. I withdraw and apologize. Yes. I'm looking for another interesting story. US unlocks 77.6 billion shillings for Gavi as Kenya faces funding transition costs. And you know Gavi is important for easy vaccine nyingi za watoto na zinginezo. So that's a good story. All right, and that's a Star. Fresh, independent, different. Today being a Tuesday, it is free and it comes with a complimentary MyGov pull-out for government tenders and job opportunities. Grab yourself a copy of the Star today for free. Fresh, independent, different.
Right. Business Daily, inside 10 firms holding 60% of state tenders. Moi XA, Joshua Kulei linked to largest deal and top contractors grab projects worth 131.6 billion Kenyan shillings. That's the main story on the front page of the Business Daily. Treasury seeks funds to reinstate fuel subsidy in U-turn. Now, John Badi said that Kenya is seeking additional funding to lower fuel prices without being specific about whether the state is targeting a loan or a new budget. Okay. On the ticker, NSSF seeks to build CT on Mavoko land, that is the National Social Security Fund. It has revived plans to develop its 1,000-acre land in Mavoko into a mixed-use CT, and that's the Business Daily.
All right. From Business Daily, let's now cross over to the regional papers, and we start off with in Uganda, where, as you had mentioned, something to do with cancer research. That's the main story on the front page of the Daily Monitor. Now, what this paper has done is mapped cancer by region in Uganda, the disease burden. A study by Uganda Cancer Institute has found that certain cancers are more prevalent in given sub-regions based on 1, lifestyle, 2, feeding, 3, altitude. The higher you go, the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. But altitude also matters, and gender, although there were some unique variations. So they're given numbers from West Nile, Karamoja, Teso, Rwenzori, Bugisu, Busoga, Central Buganda, Ankole, and Kigezi. And in total, the number of cases reported in 2022 in Uganda were 35,968. So when it comes to cancer research, they've given it prominence in Uganda. Nyinyi mukiongea kuhusu tu nani? Failure. Another paper in Uganda, that's a New Vision. Government holds special land titles. Minister wants officials, experts express mixed reactions. Mambo ya title deed ni kama imekwama. Over 600 Ugandans are stuck in South Africa. This is a New Vision now. It's a pale bottom strip. Na kuna serial border killers. They've been jailed for 150 years. It's there on the front page.
150?
150 years.
Yes, wanamwambia tu enda kama umeenda.
Hiyo aende tu. Yeye pia ni failure. That's as far as Uganda is concerned. Let's take a look at the Citizen in Tanzania now. The front page of the Citizen, they talk about a government plan to cut costs for poultry farmers. Remember they were saying that because of the weather, cold weather, that production of eggs has been cut by half. So government has a new plan to cut costs for poultry farmers. The government unveiled a major poultry transformation plan targeting lower feed costs, increased local production, stronger farmer participation, and a more competitive industry capable of driving economic growth. Umewahi ona story ya kuku kwa gazeti ya Kenya front page?
Labda the Star. Fresh, independent and different.
Kuna hadithi ya kuku kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Tanzania, that's a Citizen. Tukienda kwa gazeti la Mwananchi, masuala ya siasa yamepewa kipaumbele. Mnyukano Lissu, jamhuri wa moto. Mahakama kuamua kama Lissu ana kesi ya kujibu ama la. Jamhuri ikifunga ushahidi, Lissu adai fidia, asisitiza hana kesi ya kujibu. Jamhuri yajibu hoja. Ile kesi ya treason inayomkabili kiongozi wa chama cha Chadema bado inaendelea. Na Jamhuri ya Tanzania wamemaliza ushahidi wao. Sasa wanataka kujua kama koti itasema ana kesi la kujibu au la. Habari kuu pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Mwananchi. So those are the dailies, both local and regional. And you've seen the focus. Health matters given prominence in Uganda. Poultry matters given prominence in Tanzania. In Kenya, we give prominence to failure. Yes. Let's take a look at the cartoons now, and we start off with the one on the People Daily. It has a